Have you ever faced a tricky problem and found explaining it really difficult? In this video, I take on the challenge of verbalizing difficult problems, and I'm going to give you 5 tips to find creative solutions, no matter where you're coming from. Verbalizing challenges is one of the most powerful tools for creative problem solving, but many of us struggle with it. When we're stuck, it's often not just about finding the solution. It's about articulating the problem itself. By putting our thoughts into words, we can actually define the problem or challenge we're facing. Writing out or verbalizing the perceived problem allows you to see if your words accurately define the challenge or the emotions you're feeling. By taking a few minutes to hone your language and get specific about the issue, you can begin to unlock new ideas, gain clarity, and overcome obstacles that might have felt impossible. But the truth is that many of us hold back from verbalizing our challenges, which keeps us from finding the solutions we need. We sometimes turn our heads to our problems, hoping they'll go away. Or alternatively, we jump into action mode before we've really defined the real issue. So the time spent doing didn't get us any closer to resolving the real challenge. Let's be real. Everyone has been in a situation where they can't quite explain what's happening. You might have felt frustrated trying to describe a problem to someone, or found yourself stuck in your own head, unsure of how to get your thoughts out. This happens to so many of us, and the reasons why can vary. Maybe you feel like you're not making sense, or you worry that you won't sound smart enough when you're explaining your issue. These feelings are totally normal, but they can lead to confusion, stress, or inaction. One major roadblock is our emotions. When dealing with a tough challenge, it's easy to get overwhelmed, anxious, or frustrated, and those emotions can cloud our thinking. Instead of focusing on the problem itself, we get wrapped up in how we feel about it, making it even harder to express what's really happening. There's also the fear of judgment, thinking about what other people might think. Maybe they think I'm overreacting, or my problem isn't valid. Lastly, some issues are just plain complicated. Breaking them down into simple language can sometimes feel overwhelming. But the good news, you don't have to stay stuck. Let me share 5 tips to help you verbalize challenges and unlock creative solutions. Tip number 1, start with brainstorming. Brainstorming is a powerful way to break through mental blocks. By throwing out a bunch of ideas, even ones that might sound crazy, you can start to see patterns and start to get clarity. Don't worry about whether the ideas make sense or not. The goal is to get your thoughts out there. Start with specific language, naming the key people, events, and emotions tied to the problem. Sometimes just describing the situation out loud leads to light bulb moments where things start to make sense. For example, let's say you're struggling with low productivity at work, and you don't know why. Start by brainstorming every possible reason, no matter how small. Maybe I'm feeling burned out. Maybe my workspace is distracting. Or maybe I'm not taking enough breaks. Once you have all your ideas down, see if you can spot some patterns. After some analysis, you may conclude that it's really about needing more structure in your day. From that insight, you can move forward with finding a solution. Tip number 2, use clear, specific language. Once you've brainstormed, refine your language. One of the best ways to clarify your thinking is to focus on simple, direct words. Try breaking your problem down into smaller parts, like describing it in steps or stages. For example, if the issue feels overwhelming, focus on just one part of it. You might ask yourself, what's the first thing that feels off? Being precise with your language helps make sense of complicated issues and can lead to insights that were hard to see before. Imagine you're facing an issue with a team project that feels chaotic and disorganized. Instead of saying, everything's a mess, try breaking it down. Say, the timeline is unclear and the roles aren't very well defined. Using specific language, you've identified 2 concrete issues you can address, like setting clearer deadlines or assigning roles more effectively. Tip number 3, create language anchors. Language anchors are key phrases that help connect with your emotions and clarify what's going on. If you're feeling stuck, try saying, I'm feeling stuck because, and then see what pops into your head. This phrase acts like a trigger to get to the core of the real issue. Or if you're overwhelmed, you might say, I'm feeling overwhelmed because, and then fill in the blank. This simple approach helps break down the emotional wall and get straight to the heart of the problem. For example, let's say you're feeling stuck in your career, but you can't figure out why. Use a language anchor like, I'm feeling stuck because I don't have clear goals. Or I'm feeling stuck because I'm not passionate about my work anymore. This helps you pinpoint the core of your frustration and take action, whether it's setting new goals or exploring different career paths. Tip number 4, focus on the root cause. This one is really important. A lot of times we get distracted by the surface of a problem instead of digging into what's actually causing it. Once you've started verbalizing your challenge, ask yourself, what's really at the core of this issue? By identifying the root cause, you'll often find that the real problem is something simpler and more solvable than you initially thought. Maybe you've been procrastinating on a big project and it's stressing you out. Instead of focusing on the surface like, I'm lazy or I don't have enough time, try to dig deeper. Maybe the root cause is that you don't feel confident about your project or you're not really sure where to start. Once you identify that, you can focus on building confidence by breaking the project into smaller, manageable tasks. Tip number 5, practice, don't perfect. Remember that verbalizing challenges is a skill. The more you practice it, the better you'll get. Don't aim for perfection right away. It's okay to stumble through your words or feel unsure at first. The important thing is to keep working on it. With each attempt, you'll build confidence, and soon you'll find yourself better able to express even the toughest challenges more clearly. For instance, maybe you're having a hard time explaining a personal problem to a friend. Instead of waiting until you have the perfect way to explain it, just start. You might say, I'm not sure how to explain this, but here's what I'm feeling. Even if it's messy, practicing expressing your thoughts helps you refine them over time and ultimately leads to clearer communication. By mastering the art of verbalizing your challenges, you can gain new perspectives, unlock creative solutions, and face problems with more confidence in both your personal and your professional life. As Albert Einstein once said, if I had an hour to solve a problem, I'd spend 55 minutes thinking about the problem and 5 minutes thinking about solutions. When you take the time to articulate and understand your challenges, the solutions will naturally follow. And remember, you've got this.